All right, family. God bless you. It's the time you've been waiting for. That's right. Senior Talk with Clara Hubbard, your resource and information show for people getting better with age. Well, today we have an exclusive show. I tell you, our special guests are joining us, and let me tell you, we all are on roller skates because we are anticipating a great introduction to Eli Lilly's first time at the Black Women's Expo coming up this Friday. But let's do this. Because you missed me, I just want you to do one thing. Tell your friends we're live on Facebook, we're live on Twitter, and we're live on YouTube on Senior Talk Media. Then this broadcast will play in many other places where you can find us, and we'll be sure to share that with you at the end of our program. But everyone stay tuned. Our special guest is Eli Lilly, LaShawn Neville, and Allison Reddick. Lock your load, your guns in, because they have a new promotion that they're doing. And it's not really new to the community. It's talking about clinical trials, but they have something called the Trailblazer Study 3 coming to you real soon. So we'll be right back with you right after this commercial intro. All right, family. As I mentioned, welcome to Senior Talk with Clara Hubbard. I am your host, Clara Hubbard, the granddaughter in the community, and I am so excited. I almost want to tell people it's like the most wonderful time of the year in Chicago. That is what festival time. We like Christmas, we like Thanksgiving, but festival time is when we come out and we be a part and we're more engaging to our community. So let me put my glasses back on. I like that look a little bit better. So we have joining us today two phenomenal women who are representative of Eli Lilly, who, let me tell you, by no means has not been in the community over 30 plus years, serving the community, doing research, and also just being a part of the process. So what I want to do now, ladies, is welcome you to Senior Talk. How are you today? We're going to start with you, Allison. How are you feeling today, Allison?
I'm feeling great. Thank you so much for having us. I'm super excited to be here. I'm from Wisconsin originally, so I love a good festival, Summerfest, German Fest, Polish Fest, any kind of thing with a fest after it. So I definitely identify with that.
That's a good thing. And how about you, Miss Neville? How are you this morning, this afternoon, or whatever time it is in your world?
It is afternoon, and I'm doing great, Clara. Thank you so much. And I agree with Allison. I live for summertime. I live for a good festival. I love coming to Chicago for any reason, and I'm very excited about having the opportunity to, join the Black Women's Expo as well. So Chicago is always a good time.
Absolutely. Well, let me say this, ladies. First, I want to send a special cheers. I don't have my pom-poms with me, but April, we love you. We coordinated this very shortly of being introduced, and we are here today. We are on the cups, I would tell you, of the 33rd, I believe, Black Women's Expo. No, correction. Anyways, Black Women's Expo is coming up on August the 12th. It's going to be impactful. They have a wellness pavilion, and for the first time, joining us will be Eli Lilly. But we're here today on a special mission. I tell you, I have great relationships and communication with a lot of people in regards to dementia. Mm-hmm. And we're going to start from the beginning. We know we are still post-pandemic. We're still living through it. We're still being cautious. Other things are coming up, but we're still coming out to celebrate. And if you choose to mask up, you are definitely welcome to do so. We don't discourage you to do that. Don't be embarrassed because you mask up and come and participate. But also we are learning, and this is on my end, ladies, and we got some questions and some feedback from you. But let me ask you this. Have you seen more patients or more clients through this COVID process be diagnosed with dementia or finding early stages of dementia? Would you believe that took place because of non-isolation and just being alone in some areas?
Clara, I'm not sure that I've seen any research that has tied anything about, the isolation associated with the pandemic to an increased number of people being diagnosed with dementia. However, With that said, we know that the numbers of people who are experiencing dementia and Alzheimer's disease is very high, right? And so whether there's an uptick or even if it stayed the same, that number is higher than we want it to be. And we
Mhm.
certainly want to take advantage of opportunities to help reduce um, that trajectory for people in the community.
Absolutely. And what would you say on that, Allison?
Yeah, I would echo exactly what LaShawn has said, right? And I think the importance of our ability to come to some place like the Black Women's Expo is we know that Alzheimer's and dementia disproportionately affects communities of color
Hmm.
and African Americans specifically. So for and women, you are more likely if you are a woman. So I think what's exciting is the opportunity to bring research as a potential care option to a community that may or may not know it's even there as an option for them. So
I'm going
yeah, go
I'm,
ahead.
I'm going to take that statement, potential care option. I like the way that flows. Go ahead.
Mhm.
I'm going to write that down.
It's not trademarked. You can have it.
But it's softer for people when
Mhm.
you're talking to a
Mhm.
body of people. It's just a little bit softer.
Yeah.
So, ladies, let me say this. You're coming to the expo this weekend,
Mhm.
and can you tell us about what your participation level will be at the Black Women's Expo?
You mean individually, like Allison and I's
Yes.
participation?
Yes.
So, yep. We at Lilly are bringing quite a few people to the Black Women's Expo. We are also bringing two of our Lilly mobile research units, and these are specialized recreational vehicles, so RVs, and where we can do some blood screening. There will be several people supporting the Black Women's Expo from Allison's team, from my team, and from other our mobile research unit team on site and within McCormick's Place to help. Um, Share the opportunity for research for people at the expo. We have some folks that, even though they won't be in attendance, they will be supporting virtually to help make the experience more seamless for people who are within the bounds of the expo. Allison, I'm not sure on the total number of people that will be supporting. Maybe that's a better question for you.
Yeah, no. So as you mentioned, we'll have two of our mobile research units, which we're really excited in the actual convention center on the exhibit floor. They'll
Mhm.
provide private spaces for which to have conversations to help educate, and as well as do actual procedures to see if
Hmm.
you're eligible for the trial. So
Wow.
they'll of course have qualified medical professionals that will be on site to do that. We'll have some folks that are more coordinating, making sure our mobile research units are running and storing the samples at the right temperature. And then I think for the event itself, you'll have we are doing this in partnership with our local investigator, who is Dr. Ross.
Mhm.
So he is also going to have some of his site staff there to meet people, and they'll be the ones that they'll be going on the journey of this entire study if they become eligible and do indeed and end up enrolling and participating in the trial. So there'll be a few different layers of support there.
Okay. I'm excited because I know personally I had a situation years ago going into church ministries, and I was at a luncheon, and this lady who I did not know, she just befriended me. And her husband was there. It was a church meeting, a senior meeting, and she said, do you remember when we used to wear our hair like this? And I had on my hair was in a different style, but I had on a particular color. And
Mhm.
so I said, we had a great time, didn't we? Only because I knew some of the characteristics. I was
Mhm.
able to say, and her husband looked at me and he said, thank you so much.
Mhm.
It was to keep her, it was to meet her where she was.
Yeah.
And that was a beautiful thing. And so we're now, I know I'm becoming more engaged being in restaurants. And, who does not want to be as independent as possible for as long as they can? So our older Americans, known as people getting better with age, they are those who we have to address immediately. So now we're coming to the expo. The attendance is going to be great. We're making the opening day senior day. So how do we have the conversation in our community and with those who are coming to this expo about dementia? Because dementia is a portion. How do you explain the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's? Some people don't know that one is the umbrella. So would either of you like to take that lead about the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia?
Michelle, you want to take
Well, there's a whole body of neurodegenerative diseases, right? Alzheimer's is one of them, and there is a whole, I guess, body of dementia-related diseases.
Mm-hmm.
So Alzheimer's is just a type of dementia, right? And
That's
so what we want to do here at Eli Lilly is to help people understand the opportunities for research around Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
We have a whole, business unit that focuses on neuro diseases and trials that are run around Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases. So with Alzheimer's being one of the type of trials that we specialize in, there are tests that can be done and assessments that can be done to help people understand whether what they're dealing with is more related to dementia overall,
Mm-hmm.
some other type of neurodegenerative disease, and or Alzheimer's, right? So I can't speak to that specifically right now, but there are particular tests that research physicians here at Lilly can help people understand. And that is part of the oncoming being part of the study, right? So being part of any research study, you have to know that you're targeting the right participants, right? And so there inclusion, exclusion, there are tests that can be done to help us make sure that we are offering services and research services to the right patient population.
Beautiful. So let me ask you this. Why are you taking this step now to address the health equities in clinical trials? Because clinical trials, let me tell you, they are so needed. Mm-hmm. And we need participation. We're misrepresented because we don't participate. So that's why we need to be more vocal in saying, I will take this study or be a part of this study in reference to my beloved or my grandchildren. We need us to show up. African Americans and those of color, we need to be more represented because that's where we have a benefit of funding or lack of funding in our communities.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I want to do a little something and I hope I can do it real quick. But you ladies, guess what? I want everyone to see, and I tell you this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that you have. And I have a picture forthcoming for your vehicle that's going to be on site. But if you would, ladies, allow me to just share a little bit of a video that I found. And it's talking about the science of clinical trials.
Yeah.
The years of clinical trials have changed. Hello. There's a method, there's a process. You're not just being shoved into something and you have no clue what is happening to you. There's a process. And so this video is about 5 minutes, but I'm going to tweak it a little bit. But I just want to share this and also make mention that Senior Talk Media does not own the rights to this video. I pulled this from Your Science Clinical Trials, and I think it's just a good way to explain what we can expect, but also be mindful that on site at the Black Women's Expo, you have experts who can answer your questions. So bring them along with you and say, hey, I saw you on Senior Talk Media. So everyone stay tuned. This quick video will just be a little insight on clinical trials. Then we're going to dig into a little more meat with Eli Lilly. Thank you all. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When you get sick, do you ever wonder where medicines come from? Behind every pill, injection, or cell-based therapy you might be given lie decades of laboratory research and hundreds or thousands of failed experiments along the way. Once potential treatments are discovered, they are subjected to rigorous testing in animals, and the most promising treatments are then tested in humans to make sure that they are safe and effective. Ultimately, this process takes the innovation and ingenuity of hundreds of scientists together with billions of dollars of research and testing. The treatment's journey from the bench, where it is discovered, to the bedside when it can actually treat patients, has several stages that culminate in a thorough clinical trial. Clinical trials are research studies in humans that explore whether a medical treatment is safe and effective for people. In the US, these studies and the important data they generate are approved, regulated, and evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA. The best clinical trials are performed as randomized, double-blind, controlled trials. This means that patients are split into two groups. One group receives the experimental treatment, and the other group receives a placebo, an intervention that has no therapeutic effect, or current standard of care. The purpose of this design is to make sure that the experimental treatment itself is responsible for differences, not just the perceived improvement of a placebo. Double-blind means that neither the patient nor the doctor knows what group the participant is in. Before undergoing any treatment, all participants of clinical trials go through a process called informed consent, designed to make sure they understand the potential benefits and risks of experimental treatment, as well as those of the placebo or standard of care. In accordance with the FDA's requirements, human clinical trials have 4 phases that each has a specific purpose. Phase 1 trials, which can last up to 2 years, test whether a new treatment is safe and well tolerated, including side effects. Phase 2 trials, which can last longer than 2 years, test the treatment to see if it is effective. Is it doing what we hope it will do? And to further evaluate its safety in more patients. Phase 3 trials are the most critical evaluations and are performed on a larger group of people to understand whether the treatment works to prevent or treat disease better than any alternative treatment. This is called the treatment's efficacy. They typically last 3 to 5 years. After a Phase 3 trial, if the treatment has demonstrated sufficient evidence of positive benefit, it can be approved by the regulatory agency, the FDA in the United States, and can be commercialized. Phase 4 trials are done that monitor safety for any rare or long-term side effects of the treatment. Phase 4 also evaluates the treatment's effectiveness in real-world situations. Regardless of the outcome, participation in clinical trials is always valuable and brings us closer to curing or mitigating disease. In most cases, it takes more than a decade for a candidate therapy to move from Phase 1 testing to real-world distribution. In that context, the progress of California's scientists and physician scientists is especially remarkable. Since the passage of Proposition 71, the California Stem Cell Research and Cures Act of 2004, 30 human clinical trials have been completed, are in progress, or are getting ready to start within the next few months.
Well, I just wanted to share that video because in the research and doing my research today recently, I found something that your CEO said, which talks about what you are doing and why you're successful. But before we get into that, I want to ask you this. How are we going to be in the community getting the local participation? Because we need diverse communities to be a part of this trial, this Trailblazer study. So what is going to be the approach that both know of on how we can get people to participate in the Trailblazer study 3?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a multi-pronged approach, right? This is definitely not a one-size-fits-all. I think it is important to find and partner with trusted community sources, whether those be advocacy groups, local churches, and organizations. I think the second piece of it is also education, because there is a history and a not so great history when it comes to experimentation and the ways that trials were done. And the way that clinical trials operate now are very different. But I think we need the community to understand that clinical research is done with a variety of layers of safety that are all meant to protect the rights the safety of our participants. And that comes from the FDA, our regulatory agencies, all the way down to what we call ethics review boards. And our ethics boards that all of our trials go through are only there looking out for patient safety and ensuring that everything is done with those patients' rights in mind. So I think educating that there are controls in place to ensure that we don't do the mistakes or redo the mistakes of the past, right?
Absolutely.
And then I think access is the third piece. And access goes to how we design our trials, how we're looking at them to see what we can do to decrease patient burden, because we know that socioeconomic factors are a lot of the time why we can't get minorities to join our trials, because they can't take time off of work. They can't, they're not located anywhere near a research academic center. So what you're seeing with our mobile research units is kind of a very tangible example of what we can do to actually make research more accessible, because now instead of having people come to a site that they may or may not know of or be close to, they actually at an expo can see and actually be evaluated right there on the spot and get some answers. And what's exciting about Trailblazer 3 is it's actually a little different in the Alzheimer's trial space, because with this study, we are actually targeting to see if we can help prevent or slow down the actual onset of symptoms. So we're looking for preclinical, is what we call them, Alzheimer's, or people that don't yet have any symptoms or signs, but through a blood test, we can see that they might have the pathology and they might be at risk to develop it. And this drug that we're studying, this investigational drug, we want to see, could it potentially slow down or stop that progression? And that's a really exciting, trailblazing, title-worthy trial. And that's the one that we're going to be trying and screening and educating and bringing that awareness this weekend at the Expo.
And then just to add to what Allison said, is another component that is a little unique about this study is it includes a lot more virtual components, so that we want to be able to reduce the burden on patients, right? As Allison said, there are certain things that we know. There are certain things you do with your own doctor where you're like, that could have been a phone call. So those things that could be phone calls or could be handled virtually, we have partnered with our research physician staff to help administer some activities virtually, whether those be assessments or check-ins on anything that may have come up during the course of the study. So there's a lot of work that's been going into this to help reduce the participant burden. And absolutely, as Allison said, that community outreach is a big part of what we're doing to help drive increased diversity within this trial, because we know, as Allison said at the beginning of the call, we know that African Americans have a risk factor for developing these neurodegenerative diseases at a higher rate than some of our white counterparts, and it's even higher than some of our Latinx counterparts. So whatever we can do to help educate and do community outreach to help people come into the trial space, right? They have to make their own decisions about whether this is the right thing to do for them. But we want to present the opportunity, help educate them so they understand what joining a clinical research study means, and then help them make the right decisions, right?
I believe I'm 100%. I can't wait to just be a part of this in action on this coming week. What's also critical too is that it's going to be important that we're visible. And as you mentioned, Allison and LaShawn, just being accessible, because some people are still nervous. Some people are just apprehensive, even though they would be good candidates. It may be a family history and we just don't want to know. Come on, let's get real. But we have to participate, because if we can be impactful, we can be more in tune with saving someone in our lives, or early prevention is the key. But let me hear this message from your CEO, because he said something really stellar. And I think it's going to be a good asset to what we're talking about. Everyone stay tuned. Quick commercial, as we always love it, from the president and CEO.
A drug invented by Eli Lilly and Company has shown significant results impacting the progression of Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah, the company says during a trial, their drug slowed down the course of Alzheimer's disease by 32%. Just think about how encouraging this is for so many families. Scientists have been working on that drug for the last 10 years. We've been following this. It uses an antibody to go into the brain and actually removes plaque, which could cause cognitive decline. The next step is for Lilly to talk with the FDA and find a path forward for this drug. Lilly has already started a second study to complete its findings. We'll keep you posted, as we always have been.
Well, that was not the message from the CEO, but I did have something, and we can show that at a later time. But just to have that information live and ready, that you are making a difference now, and there is persons who are making it happen. Let me say this. People, if you hear me clearly, everything and every possible form of medicine that we're taking, even i.e. the COVID vaccine, was what, ladies? A trial.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't realize, even the COVID vaccine was a trial. If we did not have those who participated, hello, what would be the results of our experience? Some with COVID, some not, some double vaccinated, but the trials are critical in our community. So I have one little thing. I'm still trying to find it. It's the beautiful, it's a beautiful vehicle that you ladies will be bringing to the Black Women's Expo. And I have it right here. Everyone, just want you to check it out. It is awesome. And we're going to be coming right here. Here we go. This is network. This is live and ready. Here we go. Go ahead, Clara.
This is actually some footage that we took with the drone, which was very neat. This is actually one of our mobile units parked in front of our corporate center, our main headquarters in Indianapolis.
Oh my goodness. I'm in Indianapolis. We have lunch. I'm in Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Well, not today, but I do have an office there. So tell us about this driving innovation, this topic. What's going to happen? Will this be on site for us this week?
It sure will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you walk inside. It's very nice.
Yes.
Yep. There'll be two of these vehicles within your convention space.
Mm-hmm.
So that, as Allison said, so that we can help have private discussions, help do any blood tests, help people understand, have those conversations about what participation in research means, right? So these vehicles have been specially retrofitted to help make those conversations, those blood tests, and those activities private and convenient for people who want to learn more about research. And I'm looking at friends we work with, so it's lovely to see their faces on the screen.
So, ladies, both of you are going to be very active this weekend and just throughout, your career with Lilly. You've been very active. Let me ask you this, and you both can have this question. Mm-hmm. What makes a good, what are the characteristics of a good person that participates in a trial? We go with you, LaShawn, first.
Well, in this particular study, right, we're looking for people who are between 65 and 80, as Allison said, have normal memory, thinking, and mood and behaviors. We need people, because there are assessments, so we need people who have a study partner who also knows them and is willing to participate throughout the study. And then, we'll ask questions about additional study requirements. There are always things like, hey, you may not participate if you've taken X, drug in the past, right? So there are lots of questions that we will go through to help people understand what it means. But in general, outside of Trailblazer 3, participation in research is a willing decision for someone who wants this as a possible option of care. And, obviously you want someone who wants to be a part of this, right?
Yes.
Certainly there's no coercion. It needs to be a volunteer experience, and someone who's willing to participate over the life of the study, right? This research will go on for years. And so we want people to understand that we will be interacting with them and sharing information and doing tests over their participation in the study.
All right. And what about you, Allison? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I mean, I think LaShawn did a beautiful job at covering it. I think commitment is being willing to commit. I will say that what I find, when we've had interactions with different patient groups or advocacy groups, is there's a little bit of altruism in people who choose to do a clinical trial, because there is a risk that you'll get placebo, but you find people care about furthering our knowledge of the disease, getting to a place where we can find cures, find effective therapy. So I think people who sign up for these research are all heroes, to be honest,
That's a great statement.
to come in and they're making a difference. We learn every time we do a trial. We learn and we get better, and that's how we find therapies. The ones that you see on market are a small portion of the ones we actually develop, right? And none of that is possible without our willing participants. So that is what I would say, is if you are considering it, ask a lot of questions, that you've got research professionals who can help. Do not sign anything you don't feel safe or comfortable doing.
Absolutely.
Talk to your family, talk to your personal doctor, talk to your trusted sources of healthcare. But if this is an option for you, it is a really exciting opportunity for to really move forward in these disease states that are just having devastating effects on large portions of communities. And this is something that we can all, if we're eligible, this is an option for us.
I think you've hit the nail. Both of you ladies were awesome. And we're definitely going to revisit after the expo and come back and to see what our findings were and where we need to be. We have many church affiliations, over 200 or so, that are participating with Senior Talk Media. Hear me, social groups, your line dance ladies and your clubs. Be a part of it. Do something else. Be more engaging to this process. Why don't you? So what I want to say is this. What we also can do, and I'm willing, is when we're on site at the expo, we're going to address some of the other questions, about eligibility, and maybe just check in about involvement and how often you have to go to appointments and get people comfortable, because we're visible people.
Yep.
So we got to be live and direct. And I am very confident. And more importantly, let me say this: Eli Lilly, you can just Google the name. They're not pop-up. They've been around for 30 plus years successfully. And they are very engaging about having access to clinical trials and quality care. So please do me the favor. Join us on Friday, April the 12th through the 14th at the Black Women's Expo, McCormick Place, 2301. On 23rd and King Drive. You know where it is, McCormick Place Convention Center. We will be live and visible coming down the escalator. We have a big pavilion. The mobile vehicle units will be there, and there'll be experts about your questions. And if you're not going to attend, if you wouldn't mind, you can do me a favor. You can send your questions to me. How about that? You can send them to me at my Senior Talk office, or go to our website, give me a call, and I'll try to get those answered for you. But if you want follow-up and more information about trials, we can even possibly come to your community. We do accept invitations. We can make it happen. So, ladies, what are your closing statements? I'm very excited. I can't wait till we follow up and get the results. Oh, quick question. Excuse me. Thank you, April. I remembered this. How many participants do we really need to get the results that we're looking for? How about you, Allison? You can go first on that question.
Yeah, we're looking for more than 3,000 people to take part in this study.
Okay.
It's a very large study. So we're looking for more than 3,000 across the United States right now. So
wow.
Yeah. And I would just like to add that, if you're interested, we have a website called lilytrials.com.
Okay, I can do
and
it.
it will list all of our different therapeutic areas that we're in. It actually, you can, broader than just Alzheimer's, you can enter any disease state that you're interested in, and it will bring up what trials are available. And then you can actually put in your zip code and find the nearest investigator to you. So I would highly encourage anyone to check out lilytrials.com. It's a great resource for the Alzheimer's, but also beyond Alzheimer's, because we have trials going in a variety of different areas, oncology, cancer, different immunology, diabetes, a whole host of different areas.
Wonderful. And LaShawn, let me ask you, what is your closing statement today?
Just one quick correction, just real quick. Lilly has actually been around a very long time. We've been in existence for over 140 plus years.
Oops. Okay.
Yeah, I actually have a 140 T-shirt, and I got that several years ago. So I believe we're getting close to 145 if we're not already there. So I just wanted to clarify.
That's a big birthday. That's a big birthday.
Yeah. We've had a lot of birthdays over the years, and part of my closing statement is that, this is personal for me. Both of my grandmothers had some form of neurodegenerative diseases, right? One officially had Alzheimer's, and one, there was dementia across both of my grandmothers, right? And so I've seen that journey. And if there's anything that I'm one person among many, many thousands of people at Lilly who are working to help try to improve the outcomes for people with Alzheimer's disease, right? And I say all the time, right? I've been at Lilly 20 years. I've had many jobs. This is one of the ones I'm passionate about all the work I've done, but this one really hits home, right? It's my own grandmother, right? And if there was anything that I could do to change the outcome of her experience, that's what I would have done, or both of their experiences, I should say. So I'm really passionate about this. I hope to see everyone. I'm excited to see everyone that has the opportunity to come down to McCormick Place at the Black Women's Expo. Please stop by. Please say hi. Please ask us questions. There will be a lot of people there to help you. And as Allison said, right, like, make sure we address your questions. And if this weekend isn't the right time for you, then go to the website that Allison shared so that we can continue to share more information about the research that Lilly is doing.
Absolutely. Well, I want to say to you, LaShawn, I know all too well this experience. Many years ago, my aunt had Alzheimer's, and our family, it was so new. I mean, we're talking over 15 years, and our family didn't know what we were experiencing.
Yeah.
And so just walk in the house and, the visibility, and then didn't recognize you. It's a lot. And so what we had to do is we had to go to experts.
Yeah.
Hello family, hello whoever watching. We should not self-diagnose. Please don't self-diagnose. Oh, I think she just got memory loss, or he has memory loss, or he's just forgetting. Well, come to join us. Don't forget to come to McCormick Place on this weekend. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Eli Lilly Trailblazer3study.com or lilytrials.com. Come get the experts. Don't be ashamed or intimidated. This information is for you. It is at no cost. And that's why we need, and I like what you said, Allison, and both LaShawn, we're about education. We're not shoving anything. We're just trying to make you more knowledgeable about this process, because it could save someone, it can enhance somebody's life or enhance someone's life. And we're here to do that. So ladies, thank you so much for being a part of our show today. And thank you those who are watching us on all the social media platforms. It's coming to more other markets later on today. And if I can say this, we have an opportunity now to make a difference. So as I close out my show, in complete darkness, we are all the same. It is only our knowledge and wisdom that separate us. Don't let your eyes deceive you. I have been your host, your granddaughter in the community, Claire Hubbard. I love it and I take it seriously. And we look forward to serving you in the near future. Everyone, don't forget to go to trailblazer3study.com. There will be an 800 number that we'll apply to our website. But we thank you for your time and thank you for making us a part of your day. And we will see you next time.